بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وعلى من تبع هداهم إلى يوم الدين. Tonight is now the 19th night of Safar 1445, which is the 3rd of September 2023. This is now the 19th class of the 40 Hadith of Imam An-Nawawi. May Allah have mercy upon him. And we have reached Hadith number 35. On the authority of Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, who said, the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, said, do not envy one another, and do not inflate prices for one another, and do not hate one another, and do not turn away from one another, and do not undercut one another in trade, but rather be slaves of Allah and brothers amongst yourselves. A Muslim is the brother of a Muslim. He does not oppress him, nor does he fail him, nor does he lie to him, nor does he hold him in contempt. Taqwa, piety, is right here, and he pointed to his chest 3 times. It is evil enough for a man to hold his brother Muslim in contempt. The whole of a Muslim is inviolable for another Muslim, his blood, his property, and his honor. Muslim.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Alhamdulillah, your internet is very good, yeah. Alhamdulillah. This hadith, which is hadith number 35 in the Arba'in An-Nawawiyya, this hadith, we find it also in Riyadh al-Salihin 234, also 233, also 235, so 233, 234, 235 in Riyadh al-Salihin. And also we find it in another chapter from the Riyadh al-Salihin, which is 1570, and also 1580, and also 1778. All of those ahadith in Riyadh al-Salihin discusses part of this hadith, which is a hadith that sets the way how the brother deals with another brother. So this hadith is one of the hadiths that sets the rights, the due rights between brothers. And it starts as follows. لا تحاسدوا. Do not envy one another. So this is the first commandment of the Prophet ﷺ to the believers, because he is addressing here the believers. Because at the end of the hadith, it says, that is, or in the hadith somehow in the middle, وَكُونُوا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ إِخْوَانًا, and be the brothers or be the slaves of Allah, or the brothers in the sake of Allah. كُونُوا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ إِخْوَانًا. So be brothers in the sake of Allah. And this synchronizes with the ayah, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says also in Surah Al-Hujurat, where Allah Azza wa Jal, he asks us to be وَكُونُوا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ إِخْوَانًا, to be brothers before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because of this brotherhood, which is more important than the brotherhood of the blood. As we say in Arabic, al-ikhwa wal-ukhuwa ad-diniyya aqwa min al-ukhuwa at-tiniyya. I mean, there's nothing with synchronized in English. Al-ukhuwa ad-diniyya means brotherhood in religion. And ukhuwa at-tiniyya, brotherhood in lineage, mud. Teen is mud. So the brotherhood which is in the deen, much more stronger and better than the brotherhood in what? In lineage, in blood, in the mud, because we're made of mud and clay. Because of this, brotherhood is so important, and because that the society will never prosper and stand on its feet without this brotherhood, the Islam came to shape this brotherhood and make also sets of principles for the guarding this brotherhood, and also to avoid certain things that would ruin this brotherhood. So these are the principles that came into this hadith, and they're very important to bear in mind that if this person does not take on board those things that the hadith had warned us against, and warned us against, and those things that he told us to hold on to it, then the brotherhood will never last. Always, ikhwani, the brotherhood which is in the sake of Allah is the one that lasts. Where brotherhood in blood, it will not last if something had happened. Brotherhood in race, in color, in language, in land, these are temporary brotherhood. He's my brother in the childhood. He's my friend. Well, in the childhood, but when he grows up and you have a wife, he will forget about you. But the brother of the deen always stays with strong motivation behind it, which is that you are loving him for the sake of Allah. First one, which is warning, is wala or la tahasad. Do not envy one another. The envy, ikhwani, is that you wish for the blessings of Allah to be removed from your brother. So you saw him, he has money, you wish that Allah will destroy his money. You saw him, he's got a car, you wish his car to be having an accident. You saw him, he's hafid, you wish that his memory is to be lost. So this is what we call hasad. Tamanni zawal an-ni'mah an al-ghayb. To wish that this blessings of Allah are given to other than yourself to be removed. But some of the scholars widen the scope and the dimension of this envy. They say, even just to dislike for your brother to have a blessing, it is as well envy. So you're not wishing for that blessing to be removed from your brother, but somehow you don't feel comfortable if see your brother has something that you don't have. And always the envy, ikhwan, takes place where it is in the same profession, the same field. An engineer will envy another engineer. He will not envy a dentist. Okay, the dentist will envy a dentist. The imam will envy another imam. It's always in the field. Student of knowledge will envy one another. And you have to practice to hold on to yourself, not to let go of it, so that you fall into the haram. You could be a person, see a person who has not yet started the knowledge. He's just to start the first letter. And he was away from the deen. And jazakallah khairan, you brought him to the deen. And you made him to start first step. Somehow, this person had now gone up the ladder much faster than you. You are the one who was the reason for him to come to the deen, but he's mashallah, he's happy, he's going to University of Medina, he's going. Yesterday he was maybe your student, today he could be your what? Teacher, your sheikh. Hold Mr. Teacher from having envy to that person whom you have taught, or you were the reason for him to take these steps towards deen. Allah gave him the blessings of Allah Azza wa Jal, had given more time, strength in memory, fast in capturing, suddenly became better than you. Train yourself. Train yourself not to let go for yourself to envy a person. So Allah Azza wa Jal, in his book, he had made a chapter for the hasad, Surah Al-Falaq. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ مِنْ شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ. At the end, وَمِنْ شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ, from the evil of the envier, or the person who envies, when he envies. And the scholars had said the envy is totally haram, major sin. So the danger of the envy is, number one, is from the characteristics of the Jews. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said, وَدَّ كَثِيرٌ مِّنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ. So many people of the book, and here specifically the Jews, لَوْ يَرُدُّونَكُم مِّن بَعْدِ إِيمَانِكُمْ كُفَّارًا حَسَدًا مِّنْ عِنْدِ أَنفُسِهِمْ. They wish for you to go disbeliever after you became a believer. Why? Because of the hasad, the envy they have in their heart. Why this envy is haram? Because it's harmful to the believers, harmful to the people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْذُونَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ بِغَيْرِ مَا اكْتَسَبُوا, the one who harm the male, the female believers with something they did not earn, فَقَدْ احْتَمَلُوا بُهْتَانًا وَإِثْمًا مُبِينًا. They have incurred a big sin and a lie, buhtan. Also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded us to seek refuge from this envy. أعوذ بالله من شر حاسد إذا حسد. I seek refuge in Allah from the evil of the person who envies when he envies. Also, this envy is haram because the person somehow is objecting on the qadr of Allah. Allah has given him a car, nice one. Allah has given him money in short time. He did not give that to you. So you're saying, you're wishing that sort of that blessing to go away. Right? You wish him to go away. You wish that he loses his house or his job, whatever. Okay. So that envy basically made you to object on the decree of Allah, that Allah decreed for him to be better than you, richer than you. No harm for you if you have wished to be as rich as him or even better. If he's got a house, you wish to be a house, and you give, maybe I want to have 2 houses. No problem. It's called ghibba. You're delighted for your brother to have this blessing, but at the same time, you wish as well that you have the same, or even better. There's no envy in that one. The envy is the one that you hate for your brother to have this blessing, or worse, that you wish for that blessing just to go away, that he loses that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So basically, the person who envies, he is objecting on the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the envy, ikhwani, the worst person that he will be struck by the consequences of the envy is the envier himself, the one who envies. Because once he envies, he had reached to 5 punishments, the scholars had said. Once he envies, he had reached to 5 punishments. Before this envy reaches the one that you want to envy, he's got 5 things. Number 1, he's always going to be in misery. Looking at your car, look at your house, still in pain because he can't take it. You know, you're a nice house, nice car, or what? You can't take it. So he's always what? In misery, miserable. You will not be happy unless he heard that you lost the car. He might say, oh, you lost his car. Oh, but actually you're inside your heart, alhamdulillah, he lost his car. Worse, ibadallah, there's people like that. There's some people inside their hearts are black, dark. That's how they think and believe. Also, second, that this person who envies, he is in a crisis, in a situation he will never be rewarded for it. On the contrary, he will be sinned for it. Thirdly, he will be criticized for this. He will never be praised for it. Fourthly, Allah's wrath is upon him. And fifthly, that all the gates that would lead to success will be closed before him. Let's see some of the sayings of the Salaf regarding the envy. Some of the Salaf, like Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, he said to his son, "O son, be aware of envy. إِيَّاكَ وَالْحَسَدِ فَإِنَّهُ, for verily, it shows up in you before it shows up in the person that you want to envy." So you are envying a person for his house. It will show up the consequences in you. You use your house, not that person you are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or you're asking for that house to be removed. Sufyan ibn Dinar, one of the great scholars of the Salaf, also he says to Abu Bishr, great scholars, he said to him, Abu Bishr, tell me, what are the deeds of those who were before us? The era of the followers, the era of the companions. Tell me about their deeds. He said, they used to do little, but they will be rewarded a lot. The reason is their heart is clean from hasad. The reason is their heart is clean from hasad. That's why their rewards will be multiplied. You do little things, yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward them a lot. Also, Ali radiallahu anhu or Muawiyah, all these companions, they have said something. Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, he said himself that each person I'm able to satisfy and please except for a person who envies our blessings. For very nothing would please him except that blessing is to be removed. Do you understand that? Every person I could and I'm able to please him, except for the one who envies. Because I can't please him except by what? That the blessings to be what? To be removed. Then he will be pleased. Also, they said that the mu'min, the believer, always happy for the believer to have something. And he will not envy. Whereas the hypocrite is the other way around. He will never be happy and he always envies. But so the envy basically is behind so many things which are bad. Number one, it is the reason that Iblis did not prostrate to Adam, because he envied Adam. When Allah created Adam, he made the angels to prostrate. So he did not prostrate. Why? Because it's hasad. Allah giving him favors to Adam and his offspring. He didn't like it. The hasad, the envy, is the reason behind the first crime that was committed on this earth. And that is Qabil killing who? Habil. Why? Because of the envy. He envied his brother. And Allah accepted from him the sacrificial, from his brother sacrificial, and did not accept from him the sacrificial, so he killed his brother. He couldn't take it. And that is also the envy was the reason why the people of Quraysh did not believe in the Prophet ﷺ. Also, the envy was the reason that the Jews did not believe in the Prophet of Allah. All of the envy. Why? Because they said, how come that Allah Azza would specify a person like this with the prophethood? The Jews, they said, no, it has to have a different race. He cannot be from the Arabs. The envy, the Prophet of Allah. That's why they did not believe in him. And you remember the brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam, what they did? They almost committed a crime. They did commit a crime. But Allah saved Yusuf alayhi salam. They, according to them, wanted to kill him because of the envy. Hasad. They saw that their father, he's having more love to their brother more than he loves to them, which is not true. Yaqub is not. He loves all of them. But if one of the kids are special because he was a prophet, from the beginning, he was showing signs that he's going to be a special kid. When he said to his father, Inni ra'aytu ahada ashara kawkaba, I have seen 11 stars. وَالشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ رَأَيْتُهُمْ لِي سَاجِدِينَ. And I've seen the sun and the moon, they were prostrating to me. So this is the first word, la tahasadu, do not envy one another. And second one, he said, وَلَا تَنَاجَشُوا, and do not make tanajush. Tanajush is inflating the price for the sake of one of those things. Either you want to harm the buyer, or at the same time to benefit the seller, or you want to harm the seller and benefit the buyer, or even both. Example, and this happens in what we say the beddings, when you bed, especially in eBays. A person, I don't know, and by the way, I don't know how the eBay does work at the moment, but I have done an eBay a long time ago, and I've seen that these people, they just create an account. So he's got an item he's selling, and he's creating an account from a different name, and he start betting on his own item to make his item what? Goes up. I don't know, is it possible to be done these days? You don't know? Who knows about eBay? Is it possible that you could set up more than one account for yourself? Or you could ask your friend as well to go and bet on this item in order the price goes inflated. Yes? Yeah, you can do that, yeah. Very easy. So in this way, you're trying to harm the buyer by giving him a price which is not correct and benefit the seller. How can I harm the seller? I create an account which has got no review, what do you call it? There is no, it's a new one. It's got zero, what do you call that? These things, huh? Views, yeah. Okay. So what you do, that this person is selling something, like a car. So you know that if this person had relisted this car, the car price would go up, a bit down. So when the betting last moments and you could see the price, so you put a price there, but you know you're not going to pay for it because you haven't got any views anyway. So if the person who is selling that car is not aware of this happening, if he does not remove that betting, it's going to end up for this person who's not going to buy it. In order what that person would lose the better before. So he would relist it and then it will go down in price. That's as well to harm the buyer. So, or the seller. So these, or the both of them. So this called tanajush, and tanajush is forbidden because it will make the people hate one another. And that's the following word. قال ولا تباغضوا, and do not hate one another. Hatred leads to killing. That maybe the hatred will grab your heart so much you want to get revenge from a person. So we need to keep away from the tabaghud by doing the following. Number one, to keep away from everything will make you to be hating your brother. From those things, intoxicant drinks. What? Intoxicant drinks. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said, يريد الشيطان أن يوقع بينكم العداوة والبغضاء في الخمر والميسر. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that this shaitan, he wants to put enmity between you in your heart. Al-adawa, enmity, al-baghdha, hatred, في الخمر والميسر, for the what? For the intoxicant drink. And the maisir, which is the gambling. وَيَصُدَّكُمْ عَنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ, and to block you from the remembrance of Allah. وَعَنِ الصَّلَاةِ, and also from praying. فَهَلْ أَنْتُمْ مُنْتَهُونَ, are you going to stop? Also Allah, he had forbidden the namimah, slandering, because the slandering, it will make the people hate one another. So you come to a person and you say to him, such and such person was talking about you, and it was not the case. So you are backbiting and at the same time as lying. And also Allah, he had prohibited backbiting because it would lead to hatred. And also Allah Azza wa Jal had prohibited that the person would make a sell over the selling of his brother. We're going to talk about that inshallah, because it says there, وَلَا يَبِعْ بَعْضُكُمْ عَلَى بَيْعِ بَعْضٍ. We're going to come to that. So all of those things that would lead to hate is to block them. That's number one. Number two is to embark upon all these things that will lead to the love between the Muslims. Assalamu alaikum. That opens the door. Saying Assalamu alaikum relaxes the hearts. Number two, gifts. Tahadu tahad. When you give gifts to one another, you will love one another. For verily, if you know the reasons behind the signs of Iman, then when you will know definitely the reasons by which you can avoid the hatred. So anything that would lead to the Iman, it would lead to the love. Because the Prophet Allah said, وَالَّذِي نَفْسِي بِيَدِهِ, by the one whose hand is my soul, لَا تُؤْمِنُوا, you are not going to believe, حَتَّى تَحَدْ, but by the one who's on high, you will not enter paradise until you believe. And you will not believe until you love one another. Shall I inform you of something? If you do it, you love one another, afshu salam, spread the salam. So hadiyah, also give a gift. Also that Allah Azza wa Jal had actually reminded us of his favors in the Quran when he reconciled between the hearts. وَاذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ إِذْ كُنْتُمْ أَعْدَاءً فَأَلَّفَ بَيْنَكُمْ. And remember the favors of your Allah Azza wa Jalla upon you when you were enemies. The Ansar, they were enemies to each other. There were wars between them for 40 years or more. فَأَلَّفَ بَيْنَ قُلُوبِكُمْ فَأَصْبَحْتُمْ بِنِعْمَتِهِ إِخْوَانًا. He had reconciled between your hearts, and you became, with the blessings of Allah, to be brothers. Yes, you hate for the sake of Allah. You love for the sake of Allah. Brother, I've seen you doing something haram. I hate that for the sake of Allah. So your relationship to your brother, in terms of love and hate, is to be for the sake of Allah. The most strongest knot, bond in Iman is to love for the sake of Allah and to hate for the sake of Allah, to give for the sake of Allah and to prevent for the sake of Allah. Then he says, وَلَا تَدَابَرُوا. Tadabaru, tadabur is that you put your back to the back of your brother. It means you do not boycott your brother for the dunya reasons. If it was the dunya, you only had allowed 3 days. Don't talk to each other so that you could settle and relax. But after that, it will be major sin. And if you left the boycotting for 1 year, it's like you have killed him. مَنْ هَجَرَ أَخَاهُ سَنَةً فَكَأَنَّمَا سَفَكَ دَمًا. He who had abandoned his brother for 1 year is like he had shed his blood, killed him. لا يحل لأحد أن يهجر أخاه فوق ثلاث. Nobody is allowed to make hajr onto his brother more than 3. So tadabur is haram, and it would lead also to the hatred. So all of these things that the Prophet talked about, they are connected. Also, this is to do with وَلَا يَبِعْ بَعْضُكُمْ عَلَى بَيْعِ بَعْض. And by the way, Ikhwani, as our Sheikh Mashhur used to say, the boycotting is a medicine. You use it at the right time with the right quantity. It's a medicine. Look at this. There is hajar, which we call it zajirun rada, to stop the person. This is the hajar of Khalifa to some people, or the hajar of his father to his son. Somebody's got authority over somebody. Okay, so that you are boycotting him to stop him from doing what he's doing. So the 3 people, Ka'b ibn Malik is one of them, Hilal ibn Murrah, those 3 people, companions from the Medina, when they left, they did not participate in the Battle of Tabuk. Prophet ﷺ being commanded to boycott them, and he commanded everybody not to talk to them. 50 nights. Nobody's talking to them. That is to tell them off and bring them back. And the second boycotting is the one that you want to save yourself from somebody's innovation. So I'm boycotting him because if I keep my relationship with him, I might slip and do the same thing as him. So we call it hajrun wiqa'iyyun mana. This is hajr, which is to immunize yourself and prevent yourself from falling into whatever that person is falling into, especially the bid'ah ikhwani. Also, Hadith says, وَلَا يَبِعْ بَعْضُكُمْ عَلَى بَيْعِ بَعْضٍ, and not want to sell over the selling of his brother. I cannot make a transaction over the transaction of my brother after he has done it. I sold you this laptop, and I sold it to you for £2,000, £1,000. And this person took it. Somebody else came to him and he said to him, how much did you get this laptop? He said 1,000. So return it back. I could give it for you for 900. Or I'll tell you what, return it back. I could give you for the same price, better specification than this laptop. That's called bay' ala bay'. You are making a transaction over the transaction of your brother. That's haram. If nothing had happened, no problem. If you are shopping around and you saw this laptop and you said 1,000, before you made a transaction, this person came to you, by the way, I've got the same one for a cheaper price. No problem. But nothing like this. Okay, this is the laptop. Okay, I'm offering 1,000, but go ahead. If you find any price, I'll give you less. What's this? It's like did you understand that? If I give you any price, I'll give you less. Less. I'm offering you less. That's not correct. That is not right. You're trying to make the transaction only for yourself. Present your price. If he likes it, he likes it. Because once you start going down for the price, I'm pretty sure you're going to somehow play with the quality. It's not going to be the same quality. So before you go ahead with a cheaper price, check, is it the same? job, the same specification, specs, same quality, but sometimes they, so somebody, for example, want to do the roof, what do you call that roof? Scaffolding? No. For not to leak. Brother, I'm offering the price 10,000. But go and check. Any person give you less, I'm going to be less than him. That's not buying and selling. That person is dodgy. Believe me, be careful from him. So if you get on the price, I'm less than him. That means you're going to play around with the quality. Somehow he's going to make a profit somehow. He's desperate for that job. That's not correct. You just give the price and that's it. And fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If Allah will for you to take it, you will take it. Fine. All of those things would lead to the hatred. But what is the rule of this transaction? Which is, I have sold you the 1,000, the laptop, okay? And you said to him, return this, okay? And I will give you, and he will give you better. Is this transaction halal? Is it sorry, not halal? It's not halal, it's haram. But is it gonna go ahead? Or in Islam, it's void? Two opinions of the scholars. Most of the scholars, they said, no, it will take place, but with haram. But the other, they said, like the Hanabil and the Malikiya, they said, it will be void. But the correct opinion, it is sahih ma'al. It is valid, but you have a sin because you made this transaction. But then he says, وَكُونُوا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ إِخْوَانًا, and be the slaves of Allah as brothers. That's the last thing. وَكُونُوا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ إِخْوَانًا, and that's an ayah. Right. So how do we achieve this brotherhood? We achieve it with a number of things. Number one, to strengthen it, say salam. Person sneeze, shammithu, say yarhamukallah, and he will return to say, well, yatikumullah islah balakum. Visit the sick, go with the funeral, fulfill a walima or an invitation. All these we mentioned in the hadith. So that is to visit the sick, the funeral, also to give salam, and also to say yarhamukallah to the one who sneezed, also to advise the person while he's absent. All of those things will help and strengthen this bond, the ties of the brotherhood. And keep away from all of these things that would weaken it. Hatred, hasad, envy, tanajush, picking the prices, making a transaction of the transaction of your brother. إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. Allah says, verily the believers are to be brothers. فَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَ أَخَوَيْكُمْ. But al-Muslim, akhul Muslim. The Muslim is the brother of the Muslim. He says, Muslim is the brother of Muslim. La yadlimuhu. He should not put injustice on him. So from the brotherhood, that entails that you should not, number one, make dhulm upon this person. Number two, وَلَا يَخْذُلُهُ, and he does not let him down whenever he's needed, whenever he needs him. قَالْ وَلَا يَكْذِبُهُ, and he does not belie him. وَلَا يَكْذِبُهُ وَلَا يَحْقِرُهُ, and he does not demise him. Is it demise? Is that right translation? To belittle a person, demise him. وَلَا يَحْقِرُهُ. All of those things are important to achieve that the statement that you say, the Muslim is the brother of the Muslim. So, number one, la yadlimu, should not have injustice upon him. So you don't have injustice, that means because Allah says, فَلَا تَظَالَمُ. Allah, He says, إِنِّي حَرَّمْتُ الظُّلْمَ عَلَى نَفْسِي وَجَعَلْتُ مُحَرَّمًا بَيْنَكُمْ فَلَا تَظَالَمُوا. I have made dhulm haram upon me, and I made it because of that haram upon you as well. So do not wrong one another. Do not have dhulm, oppression on one another. Also, don't let him down. انصر أخاك ظالما أو مظلوما. Help your brother, whether he is an oppressor or he's been oppressed. Messenger of Allah, we help him when he's oppressed. How can we help him when he's an oppressor? Stop him from his oppression. That's how you help him. Also, وَلَا يَكْذِبُهُ, do not lie. So you should not make a lie against your brother, the Muslim brother, and even the non-Muslim brother. You should not make a lie to anybody, any person. And also, you need to know that the lying is haram, whether you lie to the believer or to the disbeliever. So we always say the truth. The truth from the ugly sins is to lie. Also, Allah, He said, وَلَا تَقْفُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٍ. Do not claim something that you don't have knowledge of. Allah says, وَمَا يَلْفِظُ مِنْ قَوْلٍ مَا يَلْفِظُ مِنْ قَوْلٍ إِلَّا لَدَيْهِ رَقِيبٌ عَتِيدٌ. Not a single word is to be uttered by the person except that there is a raqib, a watcher. Atid is there, taking notes, everything that you say. And Allah mentioned that He said, إِنَّ الْكَذِبَ يَهْدِي إِلَى الْفُجُورِ وَإِنَّ الْفُجُورَ يَهْدِي إِلَى النَّارِ. All these hadith we discussed before. Verily lying, it will lead to corruption. Corruption will lead to the fire. وَإِنَّ الرَّجُلَ لَا يَكْذِبْ وَيَتَحَرَّى الْكَذِبْ حَتَّى يُكْتَبَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ كِذَّابًا أو كَذَّابًا. That the person would lie and strive to lie until he will be recorded with the Almighty Azza wa Jal as a liar. The sign of a hypocrite, what is it? One of them is what? إِذَا حَدَّثَ كَذَبَ. If he talks, he lies. And also, if he promises, he breaks his promise. وَإِذَا وَعَدَ أَخْلَفَ. And also, وَإِذَا تُمِنَ خَانَ. And if he's to be trusted, he will betray. And also, وَإِذَا خَاصَمَ for one. Fajr. Fajr, I mean, he goes, I don't know, وَإِذَا خَاصَمَ فَجَرَ. If he disputes, he will go haywire. Now, he will go out of order, start swearing. It's khusum fujur, he start lying because of the dispute. All of that from the signs of the hypocrite. Also, the Prophet said, وَيْلٌ لِلْمُكَذِّبِينَ. Woe to the ones who lies. وَيْلٌ لِلَّذِي يُحَدِّثُ فَيَكْذِبُ لِيُضْحِكَ الْقَوْمِ. You just want to make a joke, make the people to laugh. Even that forging a lie just to make the people to laugh. Woe to him, woe to him. So all of that as well. Do not demise him. Do not make him feel little. Who are you? You say to him. Don't. Your brother should hold him up in his esteem. And this is a result of you being arrogant, overconfident, conceited. That's why you look at the people down. You belittle your brothers. Prophet ﷺ, he said, إِيَّاكُمْ وَالْكِبْرِ. What is the kibr? What is the arrogance? He said, غَمْطُ الْحَقِّ or غَمْصُ الْحَقِّ. غَمْصُ الْحَقِّ, that means you deny the haqq. You do not take the haqq. Or بَطْرُ الْحَقِّ وَغَمْطُ النَّاسِ, and belittling the people. That's the arrogance. It's not the arrogance that you want to look nice. You want to look with a beautiful car. That's not arrogance. The arrogance is not to accept the haqq and to belittle the people. That's the arrogance. And that's what the companion came to the Prophet of Allah, Messenger of Allah. إِنِّي أُرِيدُ أَنْ أَتَجَمَّلَ بِجِلَادِ صَوْتِي. I like to show, beautify myself with the, sort of clothes that I've got. Is that from the kibr? Is that from the arrogance? He said, no. It's not from the kibr. Okay, having many companions and friends, is that from the kibr? No, it's not from the kibr. So what is the kibr then? Kibr, arrogance, is batrul haqq wa ghamsun nas, or ghamtun nas. The two things. You don't accept the haqq. At the same time, you demise and belittle the people. Fine. So ghamtun nas is just to, start calling them names and look who he is and all of that. Who are you anyway? Remember yourself. Where you come from. Nutfatun madira. A clot hanging in the uterus inside the movie mother. Huh? Just that little thing you came from. Remember that. And when you grow up, tahmirul adira. You carry the poo between your legs. And when you die, jifatun qadira. You stink because your flesh becomes rotten and the worms will eat it. So if you remember that, you'll feel down. Starting from nothing, carrying the poo when you are alive, always carry the poo behind you, between your legs. Then when you die, you rot. So what is the arrogance for? وَلَا تَمْشِ فِي الْأَرْضِ مَرَحًا إِنَّكَ لَن تَخْرِقَ الْأَرْضَ وَلَن تَبْلُغَ الْجِبَالَ. Don't walk in the land in arrogance. You're not going to penetrate the earth. You're not going to be as high. as the stature of the mountains. No way. So Allah He warned us in Surah Al-Hujurat, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu la yaskhar qawmun min qawm. Oh, who you believe, do not let any person scorn or people scorn at other people. Yaskhar means scorning. You scorn and bully. قال ولا يسخر قوم من قوم عسى أن يكونوا خيرا منهم. Maybe they will be better than ولا نساء من نساء عسى يكون خيرا منهن, to the end of the verse. Also, Prophet said, بحسب المرء من الشر. It is enough for the person to go deep into the evil and يحقر أخاه المسلم, to belittle and scorn his Muslim brother. Enough evil. What's that? Rain? خير إن شاء الله. طيب. You could switch it off, yeah. If this doesn't do it, yeah. بارك الله فيك. طيب. المسلم أخو المسلم. All the Muslim is to be sacred regarding another Muslim. This is the khutbah of the Prophet of Allah on the day of Arafah. He repeated it on the following day, the day of Allah. إن دماءكم وأموالكم وأعراضكم عليكم حرام كحرمة يومكم هذا في شهركم هذا في بلدكم هذا. All of these things are to be protected. The blood, the wealth, and the honor of the believer. As for the blood, Prophet is looking at the Kaaba. ما أعظمك من بيت. What a big house you are. Great house, Kaaba. But وما أعظم حرمتك. And also your house, you got a great inviolables, holiness about you. But ولا حرمة المؤمن أعظم من حرمتك. But the sacredness and the holiness of the believer is more than the holiness of this what? Kaaba. Do the Muslim people understand that? They don't. Muslims are being killed everywhere. Well, some movements and some, miskin, poor. Imagine that somebody had done something to the Kaaba. Everybody will be. Imagine that, for example, let's say Saudi Arabia decided to make the Kaaba according to the Qawa'id Ibrahim, to expand it. So they want to demolish it and do it. I think the whole monarchy of Saudi Arabia will go. All the Muslims will unite, especially the Sufis. This is their opportunity. True enough. But Muslim being killed became like mice. No rats, nothing. A Prophet of Allah said, verily you have one hurmah, one holiness about you. And the believer has got three. Three: blood, wealth, property, and to speak ill about him. So his honor, can't speak ill about that person. That's why the Prophet of Allah said, الربا 72 باب. الربا, usually, the riba, interest, is 72 plus gates. أدناها, the least of it, in terms of sin-wise, كناكح الرجل أمه. Just like a person committing zina with his mother. That's the minimum of the riba. But what is the maximum? The top of the riba, the one that gets more sin than others. Which one? استطالة الرجل في عرض أخيه. Person speaking ill regarding the honor of his brother. Subhanallah. That's the worst. This will kill the brotherhood. It will demolish it. Once the society have people like this, slandering, backbiting, lying, demising, belittling, all of that brotherhood will be demolished. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, وَلَا تَأْكُلُوا أَمْوَالَكُمْ بَيْنَكُمْ بِالْبَاطِلِ. Do not devour the wealth amongst you in batil. So you cannot confiscate the money of your brother in batil. And also he said, التقوى ها هنا, التقوى ها هنا. 3 times. Taqwa and the heart. The heart is the bank. This is where the lake, the ears, the eyes, the nose, everything goes and come and they meet at the lake of the heart. Whatever you hear goes in the heart. Whatever you see goes in the heart. So the more cleaner the heart it is, the lake is, then you'll find this person, mashallah, is showing good sign of taqwa. And the worse it is when we have this heart, this lake, is being polluted because of the haram that you hear, and the haram that you see, and the haram that you speak. Okay, all of that will lead to that sewage, going into that lake of your hearts. But with this, alhamdulillah, we came to the end of the explanation of this hadith, and I think the time of Isha is what, 9? 9:30. Right, 9:30. The hadith, the following one is not really a short hadith, it's a long one. So I will leave that hadith for the next time. I would like to open the door for questions and answers. So please, let's go ahead with the questions. Now, Fadl.
You know, when you're speaking about envy, when a person has a feeling in their heart, how does one like prevent that feeling from his heart? Because the first glance, when he looks at his brother and has this feeling, and then how do you prevent that from?
Okay, right. You have, the person is asking me that if I see something which is good on my brother, and then have this feeling which comes that maybe I hate that thing, what do I do? Train yourself. This needs to be training. You have to train yourself. It doesn't come like this. You have to train yourself. As soon as you see something that your brother has got, your heart has to, alhamdulillah, mashallah, Allahumma barik. Remember, when you say this, Allah might give you the same, and even better. Just remember that. And even if he is not there, and you say, oh Lord, wallah, may Allah give him not just one house, 2 houses. There's an angel beside you. He's making supplication on your behalf. And oh Lord, for him the same. For him the same. So Allah will give you. And as a number of times I said this story, which is true, I would like to repeat it again. Maybe you've heard it before. We haven't. I remember there was a person who was a friend of ours, and he's good, mashallah, started the Quran, young, not married. Another friend of ours, he is older than him, and he's married recently, and mashallah, he's hafiz, and as well, he does qiyamul layl. His wife, of course, she knows. So she asked him in the car. Now, who's telling me this? Himself, that person. My wife is asking me, that person who's a friend of yours, because he does give talks as well, and she knows him, and he hangs out with us. Make a dua for him, that Allah grants him a wife. So he says to her, no. So dare you, how can you? Oh, it's your friend. He said, because of the hadith of the Prophet of Allah. Are you sure? He said, there's an angel beside my head. If I call for a wife for him, the angel will say Ameen. And him for them the same. She said, don't make dua. Are you sure? If I said it, give him a wife. The angel will say, and for him the same. He said that to her, no, but he made the dua. And he ended up with a second wife. Because he was sincere, mashallah. Both of them got married. He got married, after he got married, another wife. Now. Right. Any other question, Khwani? From the internet? Brothers? Yes, Faisal?
Yeah, I'm Sheikh. I'm here in America, and I'm sure also in England, right? When you go to the store, if there is another store that sells that product cheaper, they would typically price match it. Is that allowed? So they will bring their price down.
Right. You're talking about price match, but where is the bonus that you're going to get? There's no bonus except that you don't want to go to the other store. So I would say, if there is no bonus, then take it from those people who are selling it in that price that you have claimed. Because usually they match prices of stores, not online. They will not match with the online. So let's say Argos and another place, let's say Asda. Okay. So they want to match the price. So I've got Asda. They got the price which is cheaper than Argos. Why should I go onto Argos and I tell them match the price when whatever I get from the Asda is the same? Why should I do that? you understand me? I would go to Asda. But if that place is too far, if that place is not as easy of buying and selling and returning stuff as the other one, then I have no problem. I tell this person, you're not making a transaction. You're saying that the other person is selling it this. Are you able to sell it this way? He would say to you, yes or no, depending. And usually these people who are big companies, they're making a lot of money. They're making a lot of money. So they're making a profit, whether they sold it with a higher price or with a matched price. So you're asking me, is Asda doing halal or haram or these matched prices? I would say to you, if that is the case, alhamdulillah, but there are lots of things they're doing haram, apart from price matching and all of that. Now, you got a question? Father, hang on.
Friend or brother, he doesn't pray, you tell him.
Friends or brother,
Tell him always to pray.
you tell him all the time to pray.
No, tell him that. Remember, people remember praying, but he doesn't pray. So you hang around with other people.
So he will always remind him to pray, but he doesn't pray. Okay, so what is the question?
Question is, you hang around with him.
Do I hang around with him? Well, I'm asking now. This person you told him to pray did not pray. If I hang around with him, am I going to be affected and lose my prayer? If this is the case, don't. But actually, it's not the case. It's just, first of all, this person, whom the one you kept nagging on him, pray and pray. Once you boycott him, he is the one who's going to say, Alhamdulillah, what a headache he was. True or not? So you left him, he's going to get worse. He's not going to get more better. So you should not be boycotting. You should tell him off, but not boycott. Keep that relationship. Because maybe this reminder of yours did not help. Maybe later on will help. It depends. So if you left him, it's going to go worse. But if you think hanging out with him is going to make you drift away from the deen, keep away from him. But it's not the case. Normally it is not. That's what we're talking about, not the father with the son. That's different. Or the sultan with the people whom he rules now.
Follow-up question from that. If someone doesn't accept the boycott, what to do in that situation? They still like continue their way. They don't like you said, avoiding what you kind of show them in order to bring them closer.
I said you should not be boycotting him. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, no, but for a different situation.
You want to boycott?
No. Take for example, they're trying to boycott a person, not that situation, but a different situation, and they don't accept it. What do you do in that case?
I don't understand what you do. He doesn't accept it. I don't understand what you're talking about. He doesn't accept it. So forget about his question. It's not going on from that question. There's a person who is not good, doing no good. So what is there? So is this person doing no good? You want to boycott him?
No, say you got an argument with someone and you just boycott for 3 days. So they
Oh, so you got this is not follow up on this question. This question is different, actually. So you're talking about you have a dispute with somebody regarding dunya wise.
Yeah.
Okay. And you had 3 days. Well, one of you had to start the salam. It's only salam. It's not really going hugging. You're not going to hug somebody who's pat on your face 2 days ago. No. You're going to just say salam slowly, day, 2 days, maybe after a week, start hugging. But from the first time you're going to back into your house, I don't think so. No way. Still, you have this grudge because of the rage. Well, calm down 3 days, say salam. And the best of the two, the one who starts the salam. So we start the starter now. طيب يلا يا زهرة.
What if somebody oppresses you and you wish them bad? Is that wrong?
When start again?
If somebody oppresses you and your heart wishes them bad in that moment.
No problem. If somebody oppresses you, you got your heart, you want to supplicate against them, no problem. It's allowed for you. You're oppressed. It's better to tolerate and pardon, but it's not a must. And that's why we say to the person whom you have wronged somebody, be careful. The one you wronged, he's got a supplication that there is no barrier between it and the Almighty. And Allah will answer and fulfill that supplication. One of our shuyukh, he said, I went to Hajj and I was on the coach. And there was a woman came to me and she said to me, I want to make a dua against my brother. Am I allowed to do that? He said, well, it would be better if you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to fix him and make him to be good and so on and so forth. He kept telling him at the end, he said, I just want to know, am I allowed to make dua against someone now? I mean, cut it short. He said, yeah, you're allowed. So they left each other. Both of them made Hajj. She made Hajj on her own with him. And then they met on the way back to their country. The country is Egypt. On the coach, this woman, she came to the Sheikh. He's well-known Sheikh. She said to him, Alhamdulillah, I made a dua against him. In Arafah, in Mina, in Muzdalifah. She left no place except that she made dua. The Sheikh, he was singing, subhanAllah. This brother of hers, he's been doomed. This brother, if he knew, because of what he had done to his sister, that his sister, she had made dua in the best of places, at the best of times, he would have never wronged her. If he knew that, he would have never wronged her. SubhanAllah, he was even himself, the Shaykh, is scared. So she just came to him and said, Alhamdulillah, left no place except that I made dua against him. Don't wrong people, Ikhwan. Not everybody will forgive. And the currency on the day of resurrection is hasanat and sayyat. There will be no dirham or dinar to exchange yourself from the haram. But you could switch off this. I think it's cold. Is it cold?
No.
Switch it off. Oh, the camera, the AC. طيب يلا اخوان يلا يا احمد.
جزاك الله خيرا شيخنا الكريم. Sheikh, if a woman is trying to marry a man and her Muslim sister knows that, is she allowed to try to marry him at the same time?
I don't understand this question is realistic or not. I can't understand this question is realistic.
Because the opposite, I believe, is not allowed, is it, Sheikh, with men trying to marry women?
No. You're saying that as two women are going to marry at the same time, so he's going to have a bride from the right, a bride on the left. I mean,
what I mean, Sheikh al-Karim, is if a man wants to marry a woman, and then another brother knows, he has to wait if it doesn't happen. What about women? Do they have to wait the same, or can they just try to marry him?
This question hasn't been really. So you're talking about proposing to a married, to propose to somebody. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I propose to somebody, a woman, okay, and this proposal, it hasn't gone through, they'll say, well, they think about it, another person can come, no problem. But if they said to him, okay, we are agreeing, give us some time to prepare. Now, this is called engagement. So this person should not offer and say, by the way, I'm a better husband, or I'm a better husband, I'm rich, would offer you better dowry, and all of that. That's haram. وَلَا يَخْطِبُ أَحَدُكُمْ عَلَى خِطْبَةِ أَخِيهِ. Prophet said, don't make a proposal onto the proposal of your brother. But if those people did not say yes to that person, they want to hold on, they might see a better proposal, no problem. So is that the question of yours?
Yes, Sheikh.
Okay, answered. Yalla ya Mustaq. Oh, hang on. No, hang on. There's on-ground questions and online question. On-ground takes priority. Go on.
You spoke earlier about arrogance. And also, when I ask if it's related to the ayah, like, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ كُلَّ مُخْتَالٍ فَخُورٍ. Is it related to arrogance?
إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ كُلَّ مُخْتَالٍ فَخُورٍ. It is an ayah linked 100% to the person who is arrogant. The mukhtal or the muhtal, both the same. And he's always mukhtal. Yakhtal, the way he walks, fakhur, boasting, arrogant. Allah does not love him. Except in one place. And that is, what is it, Ahmed?
Abu Dujana in the battle.
Abu Dujana in the battle, when he wrapped with his red bandage on his head and he started walking before the army, in front of the kuffar. Prophet Allah said, this walk, Allah hates it, except in such position. Does he want to show off? How can he get me? And when he puts his bandit, that's it. Everybody's doomed now. This person, mashallah, hero. So he was showing off with his muscles in front of the disbeliever, the enemies. So Allah does like this walk, Allah doesn't like it, except in this particular situation, circumstances. طيب, تفضل يا مستاك.
If two people have wronged each other, maybe with words, and after they had made up, but the relationship is not the same, how much should another person try to rectify that, even if the other person doesn't really want nothing to do with them no more?
No, Akhi, you're not required to return the things as it was. You're required to boycott the boycotting, to stop it. That's it, by saying salam. As for the time is the best healer. You know, you lose sometimes, you're the best of your relatives, and you are in pain and grief and sorrow. After a while, you start laughing. You forgot. The time is the best healer. So don't just make it as a something to preoccupy in your mind that things has to be as the same before they insulted one another. No. When we say in Arabic, sometimes when the jar breaks, you could mend it, but still the cracks still there. You could mend it, but the crack's still there. Why? Because in case that it folds even smaller fold than the other first one, will break easy. Before it was hard, it needs to drop from a distance. But this one now, so the relationship will be back again, but that still will be lingering in the back of the mind. If this happens again, it might break it easily or faster than it was at the first time. And that is, we are human beings. We are human beings. Of course, except for those people who are, subhanallah, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. This is an amazing story, Ikhwan. And this is by which we're going to finish. With Mistah ibn Athatha. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he lived 50 or 30 nights, can't sleep. Because his daughter, Aisha, the wife of the Prophet of Allah, she was accused of doing fornication with Safar ibn Mu'attal. You call it Qasr al-Ifk, the story of the great lie. He was speaking ill about people, especially the one, Tawalla Kibrahu Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul, the big hypocrite of the Medina, is the one who was in charge of this rumor. But one of them is called Mistah. And Mistah is somehow related to Abu Bakr, but Abu Bakr used to spend on him money. Charity. Poor he was. And Abu Bakr was rich. Even that Mistah was with his tongue, along with the other tongues, speaking ill against his daughter. Abu Bakr never stopped his what? His charity. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ didn't do anything. He's the Prophet. He could see his wife, which is his daughter. Okay, so maybe his daughter, she did the maybe. A human being, she could be done something wrong. So he didn't want to say anything. And that's why when Aisha, she knew after a while, when the mother of Mistah is the one who told her, she went and now she understood why the Prophet of Allah It's not the same as before, cuddling and all of that. He just comes in, how are you? And then goes, how are you? She didn't know until she went to her father and her mother. Is that what I hear is correct? Her father and her mother, they couldn't do anything. It's the Prophet of Allah because he's got revelation. If she was innocent, Allah will exonerate her. But it wasn't the case. So basically, he's trying to calm her down, but she said, I think it went so deep into your heart until you believed it. Aisha should say to them, you believed it. It went so deep into your heart until you believed it. The thing is, Abu Bakr is still spending money onto that guy, onto that campaign. Mislah was being whipped later on because of his what? Because of his lack of his slandering. Because of his slandering, he was lashed 80 lashes. Him and Himna bint Jahsh, also she was lashed because of she spoke ill about Aisha radiallahu anha. Abu Bakr never stopped the spending until Allah sent the verses from Surah An-Nur that Aisha is innocent. When the verses came down, Abu Bakr knew that his daughter is innocent. What he did, he stopped the sadaqah. Only stopped the sadaqah until he got the affirmation from Allah that this is not, Aisha did not do it. Who can do that amongst us? Even if your daughter, she didn't do it. Would you accept to go and spend money on somebody who speaks ill about your daughter? No. No way. When he stopped, Allah sends a verse just for Abu Bakr. وَلَا يَأْتَلِ أُولُو فَضْلٍ مِنْكُمْ. Those are the ones who got bounties and money and all, they should not stop giving the sadaqah. So Abu Bakr gave the sadaqah. This is the answer to your question. He spoke ill, he broke the jar. Yes. Definitely Mistah is not gonna be as close as he was before this incident, true or not? But that didn't stop him to go back to give him the charity. After Allah told him just to tolerate. Fa'af, asfah, tolerate, pardon him. He pardoned. أَلَا تُحِبُّونَ أَنْ يَغْفِرَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ. Don't you like Allah to forgive for you? Yes. He said, of course. I want Allah to forgive for me. Because irham turham. Have mercy, Allah will have mercy upon you. Tolerate, pardon, Allah will not pardon you. Same thing. أسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى لكم الثبات على دينه وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين. جزاكم الله خير.